Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Well, hello there. My name is Mohd Shahrizal bin Aidin, and today for ENCO 2106 Phonetics, I will be presenting weak forms. So, what is weak forms? Weak form is a syllable sounds that become unstressed or flat in connected speech. We are using one sound only, which typically sounds like this: or often pronounced as a schwa, schwa, schwa. So in this weak form, there are many types of categories that I will cover, ranging from articles to pronouns. So without further ado, let's jump in. Articles. So what is article? Articles are words that define a noun as specific or unspecific, while conjunctions are words that link up other words, phrases, or clauses together. So wait for the end, watch a video of me presenting. You might say an astonishing act. So come and watch the video. You might say it's okay, but still the worst. The compliment is the thing that motivates me better than everything. Did you see what I just did there? I just used article and conjunctions as the weak forms in our daily sentences. So usually we use that. So there are examples for that. For that, the word only has a weak form when used in relative clause. When used with a demonstrative sense, it's usually pronounced in its strong form. So that's for articles and conjunctions. Moving on, prepositions. So what is prepositions? Prepositions are a class category of word governing and usually preceding a noun or pronoun and expressing a relation to another word or element in the end. For example, the first one, at. I'll see you at the end. What's he yelling at? For. Thanks for waiting. What are you waiting for? From. I'm studying from home. Here's where it came from. Of. Most of all, something you've heard of. And last but not least, two. Try to follow me if you want to. What are the examples I just did there? That the preposition, when I put middle of sentence and the last of the sentence, it can still be a weak form. So that's for preposition. Most of prepositions are used instead of weak forms. Moving on, a pronouns. Pronouns is a word that substitute for a noun or noun phrase. For example, which pen did he choose? Give it to him. Take his pen. So that's for male gender. Let's reverse the gender. Which pen did she choose? Give it to her. Take her pen. See, he, his, him, or she, her still are used in weak forms because it's substituting a noun or a noun phrase. For us and them, as you can see on the chart there, for the example, write us a letter, leave them here. See, we are still using it as weak form. So that's for pronoun, we are still using it as weak form. Moving on, auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb, aka helping hand, is a verb that helps another verb express its stance, its mood, or voice. A modal verb, while modal verb is another verb expressing modality such as obligation. For example, why am I here? He is struggling. They are sleeping. There are a few things you must know. She was here. She was astounded. They were sleeping. The questions were easy. Which have you seen? Have you eaten? Which has been best? Has he many friends? Which had fell? Had we a big house? For example, the first one, why am I here? When we are using it on the middle of sentence, we are using this am. While when we are putting it in front of the sentence, am I here? Am. We are using the am. Am I here? He is struggling. Self-explanatory. They are sleeping. There are a few things you must know. Also, before consonant and before vowels, they are sleeping. There are a few things. When we are using consonants, we are using a, while when we are using vowels, we usually pronounce the r. There are a few things you must know, but still in weak forms. Was also with the same as are. She was here. She was astounded. Was dengan was. The questions were easy. They were sleeping. Also before consonants and before vowels. Which have you seen? Have you eaten? When we are putting it in front of it, we tend to pronounce the h. Which have you seen? Which have you seen? Or have you eaten? The h, then Also, it covers from the have, has, and had. When we are putting the word, when we put the word in front of the sentence, we tend to pronounce the h. Next, do. Do, we have also to before consonants and before vowels. For example, why do they like it? And why do all the cows stop? We tend to pronounce the little bit of behind there differently. Does, so must, for must, so she must have arrived by now. Must, so must, it is rather likely to occur in its weak form than when it is being used. It is more familiar sense of obligation, because must is a very strong word in terms of context. Next, could, it could, but then not every time. But I do think we can do it. Perhaps we should do it, and we shall do it, I assume. See, all of those are still used in the weak forms. English is a stress time language. The rhythm and length of time that it takes to say an utterance depends on the number of stressed syllables it contains, and not the total number of syllables as in syllable time languages. The stressed syllables are said at regular intervals, and the unstressed syllables get squashed in between them, no matter how many there are. So these can create a problem for new learners, especially those that come from syllable time languages, who are expecting the unstressed syllables to be pronounced as clearly as the other words in the utterance. So they may fail to recognize the weak form in terms of pronunciation, or even to hear them all. In conclusion, weak form is important in English in order to learn it thoroughly. That's all from me. Thank you for hearing and watching this video for the presentation of weak form. Assalamualaikum.